Jasoranandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Jira Manachari Yamuna Jira Manachari Jaya Radha Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Kunjabihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should first offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 26, text number 16. King Paranjana goes to the forest to hunt. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Kvavatarte salalana Majantam Vyasanarnave Yamam Udarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade Kvavartate Salalana Majantam Vyasanarnave Yamamudarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade Kvavartate Salalana Bhajantam Vyasanarnave Yamamudarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade
Kvavatarte salalana
Kvavatarte Salalana
Majantam Vyasanarnave Yamamudarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade Kvavatarte salalana Majantam Vyasanarnave Yamamudarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade Kvavatarte salalana Majantam Vyasanarnave Yamamudarate Pragyam Deepayanti Pade Pade
Vartate Salalana Majantam Vyasanarnave
pragyam
Yamamudarate pragyam
Dipayanti pare pare
Dipayanti pade pade. Word meanings. Kva, where. Vartate is now staying. Sa, she. Lalana, woman. Majantam, while drowning. Vyasana arnave, in the ocean of danger. Ya, who? Mam, me. Udarate, delivers. Pragyam, good intelligence. Dipayanti, enlightening. Pade pade, in every step. Translation, kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me when I'm drowning in the ocean of danger. By giving me good intelligence at every step, she always saves me. Purport. There is no difference between a good wife and good intelligence. One who possesses good intelligence can deliberate properly and save himself from many dangerous conditions. In material existence, there is danger at every step. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-58, it is said, Padam padam yadvi padam datesham. This material world is not actually a place of residence for an intelligent person or a devotee, because here there is danger at every step. Vaikuntha is the real home for the devotee, for there is no anxiety and no danger. Good intelligence means becoming Krishna conscious. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Krishna ye bhaje sebada chatura. Unless one is Krishna conscious, he cannot be called an intelligent person. Herein we see that King Puranjana was searching after his good wife, who always helped him out of the dangerous situations that always occur in material existence. As already explained, a real wife is Dharma Patni. That is, a woman accepted in marriage by ritualistic ceremony is called Dharma Patni, which signifies that she is accepted in terms of religious principles. Children born of Dharma Patni, or a woman married according to religious principles, inherit the property of the father. But children born of a woman who is not properly married do not inherit the father's property. The word Dharma Patni also refers to a chaste wife. A chaste wife is one who never had any connection with men before her marriage. Once a woman is given the freedom to mingle with all kinds of men in her youth, it is very difficult for her to keep chaste. She generally cannot remain chaste. When butter is brought into the proximity of fire, it melts. The woman is like fire and man is like the butter. But if one gets a chaste wife, accepted through a religious marriage ritual, she can be of great help when one is threatened by the many dangerous situations of life. Actually, such a wife can become the source of all good intelligence. With such a good wife, the family's engagement in the devotional service of the Lord actually makes a home a grihastha ashram, or household dedicated to spiritual cultivation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Ginanjana Salakaya Chaksurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Now, there's a lot to read about Narottam Das Thakur, but I didn't want to circumvent the daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, but just say something briefly here so we can kind of get into the person Bhagavat in the form of Narottam Das Thakur. So Prabhupada writes, or the verse is talking about good intelligence. Prabhupada is talking about the, equating a good wife with good intelligence. And in the second sentence, Prabhupada says, one who possesses good intelligence can deliberate properly. So deliberate Deliberate or deliberate. Means to engage in long and careful consideration. Now, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, towards the end, he says, 1863, he says, "Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do." So Krishna doesn't want blind followers. People in knowledge, we spoke about this, I think, the other class, where the 4 types of pious people that approach Krishna. The one in knowledge is considered relatively, well, Prabhupada said, more or less love. It's not transactional. So it's important to have knowledge, and with that knowledge, we can deliberate. We can use our intelligence and make as they say, a well-informed decision. Just like when people want to buy a new car or something, they research, they deliberate, they investigate the latest models and consumer reports or whatever, and they find out. So but Krishna never impels Arjuna to do something that he doesn't want to do. He said, "It's your decision, Arjuna. I've laid it all out for you, but you do what you deliberate on it, think about it, but you make the decision." And sometimes people they talk about faith in God, and I think I mentioned it last time also. What about God's faith in us? Are we exercising our independence, our minute independence, properly? Have we thought things through before we've decided to act in any particular way in our life? So also in Bhagavad Gita, because in that purport to 434, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya, approaching a guru, because the guru is the external manifestation of the super soul, who's the source of all intelligence. In the 7th chapter, Krishna says, "I am the intelligence of the intelligent." That's in the 7th chapter. In the 15th chapter, he said, "I'm in everybody's heart. I give knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness." And later on in the 18th chapter, he said, if you don't act according to this good intelligence that Krishna is providing, but instead you act through false ego, not hearing me, you'll be lost. So losing our intelligence, Krishna describes in the 2nd chapter the whole sequence. When you contemplate the objects of the senses, we develop attachment for them. From attachment, one develops strong desire, lust. From lust, anger arises. From anger, delusion. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when your memory is bewildered, you lose your intelligence. Basically, you become dysfunctional. Just like imagine if you were driving and you suddenly forgot what you're supposed to do when you come to a red light. Your memory is, you lose your memory. How could you function? You would be dysfunctional. So when we lose our memory, when our memory is bewildered, we lose our intelligence, and then you fall down back into material existence. So losing our intelligence is, you can't really, in one sense, you could say you can't really lose it. It's just, but you can not pay attention to it. And it's kind of synonymous with losing your intelligence. Is Krishna is providing through the Shastra, through the Guru, through the sadhus, good advice. But if we choose to willfully neglect it, what can Krishna do? He's not going to force us. So, but that, it's amazing. After the whole Bhagavad Gita is spoken, that verse where Krishna says, now you decide what you want to do. So the onus is on us. Krishna has provided all facility for the living entities to stop their suffering and to go back to Godhead. And people are, why has God created so much suffering? We've made poor choices. And that empowerment, sometimes when people just think about victim mentality that people talk about a lot, it's disempowering to harbor this victim mentality that, things are outside of my control. Everything bad happens to me. Why am I always, whatever, got the bad, I was dealt a bad hand of cards. It's not my fault. I was dealt a bad hand of cards. So whatever experience we're having, it's just to accept that it's because of our choices we're in the position we're in now. It's very empowering. We can choose to not be in a condition of suffering, and that's good intelligence, to exercise good intelligence. So last thing I'll say about intelligence, and Prabhupada talks about the dangerous condition in the material world. So there's an expression, anger is one letter away from danger. So in that sequence of contemplation and lust, and anger is right in the middle there. It's sort of preemptively, you lose your intelligence when you become angry. And how many people have done things, said things in anger that they regret, and then they're like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was overwhelmed, by the motive, passion, and ignorance. So that was something we talked about previously. There's been a strong theme in this chapter about staying aloof from these lower modes of nature, living a sattvic life. And then we mentioned about the anger that Bhrigu Muni was testing the different devas. Brahma, he offended in his mind. Brahma became angry, but with his intelligence, he checked it. Shiva, when he was offended verbally, he didn't check his anger, but it was Parvati, his good wife. And that's exactly what this verse is talking about. A good wife, good intelligence. So and then Vishnu didn't become angry at all. He was completely, so. And now the 2/3 of about at least half, Prabhupada talks about the chastity of women, Dharma Patni. And Arjuna, of course, argues with Krishna, that if we kill all these, warriors, the women will be unprotected, there will be unwanted progeny, the downfall of society, Varna Sankara. And that's a good argument, but it wasn't a good argument from Krishna's perspective, because he was talking about the highest principle of doing what the Lord wants. But later on in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, if I didn't do my duty, I would be the cause of creating unwanted progeny. So he gives the same argument that he sort of rejected from Arjuna. Then Krishna gives that same argument, why I have to, perform, what does he call it? Like my duties, even though Krishna, natasya karyam karanam to vidya, he has no duty, but to set a good example for us. So, and just a little bit about, women have a very powerful influence in society, because, men are, much more susceptible to the form, women are attracted to the form of men, but men are especially visually oriented. They really get spun, That's why, pornography and advertising, there's always a woman, no matter what it is. It's, Biz laundry detergent, it's whatever. It's some beautiful women, use Biz and you'll be happy and I'll love you. And there was this old commercial, High Karate. Remember that? It was cologne. And the guy puts on the cologne and he has to fight off all the women, So, the whole men are supposed to be protectors, of women, but women have to protect men. They have a power over men that if it's not controlled, it creates havoc in society. So, and Prabhupada often mentions about how, behind every great man, there's a great woman, So, being trained in chastity, because women do have a significant power over men. And if it's exploited, it just can really create havoc in society. So that's about all I have to say, because I want to get into Narottam Das Thakur. Does anyone have any burning comment or question on these points? Yes.
There's a lady visiting. She's not here today, which I'm sorry she's not here to do this, but she was asking the other day at Prashadam, because her daughter has, young daughter, only 30, I think, has cancer, like stage 4. So she was asking, because we know that the Indian tradition, things that they say. So she said her relatives are telling her that it's her bad karma that her daughter is sick. So she was asking about that. So we know that our activities produce the results of our own. And of course, a son or daughter or something would be a byproduct of that. But how directly is that, or how would you address that question?
In terms of the mother, is the fact that her daughter has cancer?
Yeah, so she's saying that.
How should the mother feel?
Well, she said the relatives are saying that it's her mother's bad karma that the daughter's sick.
Oh.
So she was struggling with that, and I was saying no, but not completely.
Well, I'm not. That does sound a little callous. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. Ultimately, Krishna is behind everything. And he's, what is it in the Ishopanishad, where it says the Supreme Lord, the self-sufficient philosopher who's been fulfilling the desires of everyone since time immemorial. Krishna's responding to our desire. Remember that old Bhagavad Gita picture from the Macmillan Gita? They showed the spiritual world, and then there was desire, was, kind of the reflection, so everything rests on desire. And, the fact that we've, just like you say, I jumped in the water, but I got wet. Well, of course, that's what happens when you jump in the water. So our desire has propelled us into the material world. So that necessarily means we're going to have to suffer various anomalies because we're outside of our natural environment. So in the 4th chapter, Krishna says the intricacies of action are very difficult to understand. There's no real value in pointing fingers at anybody. It's just that we're all in a big mess in the material world, and if we just accept personal responsibility for our own lives and try to be compassionate towards others, it's not really our business to judge who's to blame for this or that. And even if we just don't even have the capacity to understand the intricacies of how karma is working. So I know that's a lot of mumbo jumbo there. I don't know if that, if that really addresses that. It just seems like I would just say that Krishna is giving us all the opportunity to practice compassion, and it would be or practice tolerance for ignorant people who say things that are hurtful. It's an opportunity to practice, tolerance and forgiveness. But it definitely seems to be an inappropriate thing to say to somebody who's suffering. It's your bad karma. We may think about that ourselves personally. I'm suffering but in terms of how we address other people and their suffering, that's between them and Krishna. And the opportunity we have is to practice compassion, try to encourage people to get closer to Krishna.
But, this is a karma.
Thank you.
This is a karma to take birth in certain family. So, and when people say it's because from her mother she had cancer, the mother's karma, but the karma herself can't take birth. Also, so we cannot say because of her mother she took birth in the womb. So because of our karma, we taking birth in a mother. So everything happening to us is from our karma. So the cancer she has is because she have chosen in the past life to take birth. So we cannot blame her mother. We can blame her mother that it's her fault. She has the karma because she's the one who choose to take birth. In the scripture says that we choose to take birth instead of take family. So everything happening to us is our karma. So we choose to. So we cannot blame. I cannot blame my father. I can blame my father if I'm a bad person, if I'm a criminal, because it's my karma. So anything happening to us is because we choose to take birth in this special family. How about that?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would. Again, there are many layers, and to really try to pinpoint it, I don't know if there's much value in that. Trying to pinpoint who's to blame. As they say, you point one finger at somebody, three are pointing at you. So, all right, let's hear something about Narottam Das Thakur. I got a little inspired. Sitala Devi, Harisari's wife, she wrote a book on the glories of Narottam Das Thakur, and she was being interviewed on Wisdom of the Sages recently, and then I listened to her talk that she gave in Seattle about Narottam Das Thakur, and she was really enlivened to encourage us to explore, because Prabhupada had great regard and affection for Narottam Das Thakur. In Prabhupada's books, he references Narottam Das Thakur often. We sing Narottam Das Thakur's song to Prabhupada every day. We all have a real connection with Narottam Das Thakur. And, learning about these great personalities in our tradition, it can embolden our faith and our conviction that there's a much bigger plan going on than our immediate either personal problems or even like our Sitala was saying, the problems within ISKCON. They really pale in comparison to the big plan that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is unfolding through these great personalities, such as Narottam Das Thakur. So it can help us on many different levels to recognize how we become distracted, how Maya can distract us from the significance of what we're participating in. It's just like when Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samamrita, I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. I'm covered by the internal potency. So when our consciousness is not situated properly, we can't see the real picture of what's happening and the incredible miracles that are happening daily. We're saying, this one did that or that one did this. It's like, come on, there's like just miracles happening all around us. And, we have to be with our good intelligence, as Narada Muni was describing, we have to be able to deliberate and carefully consider the significance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So Narottam Das Thakur, here's a little overview, and then I have some things from this book from Satyaraj, but Probably not going to be able to get to too much of it, but we'll see what we can mine from this nectar. Appearing as the son of a king, Sri Narottam Das Thakur showed all the bodily symptoms of a Mahaparusha, an exalted divine person. He had long arms, a deep navel, golden complexion, beautiful eyes shaped like lotus petals. In school, he was a Shrutidara, able to memorize whatever he hears. Although he quickly mastered Sanskrit and the Vedas, he hankered to serve Krishna. He was a lifelong brahmachari. By the mercy of the holy name, Gaur-Nitai, Narottam became detached, left his opulent family, and ran to Vrindavan. He took Diksha from Sri Lokanath Goswami and Shiksha in Gaudiya philosophy from Sri Jiva Goswami. When he arrived in Navadvip Dham, all the devotees asked him about the health and activities of the Goswamis in Vrindavan. They were eager to hear the news from Vrindavan. After visiting all of Gauranga's pastime places in Gaura Mandala, Narottam Das did the same in Sri Kshetra Dhama, Jagannath Puri. Then he went to see the devotees and Sri Chaitanya's pastime spots in Shantipur, Sri Khanda, Kantak Nagar, Ekachakra, and Keturi Gram. In Keturi, now I believe he appeared in Bangladesh. So maybe I think that's Keturi. He returned, he left his hometown, but then I think he returned. In Keturi, Srila Narottam Das Thakur arranged the famous Keturi Mahotsava. This was the first Gaur Purnim festival to honor the divine appearance day of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. During the festival, 6 deities were installed. With his sweet voice, Narottam Das began a wonderful kirtan. His chanting filled the heavens and brought down tears of prema from the eyes of the devotees who were all sporting in the ocean of ecstasy. In the midst of their kirtan, the magnificent Sri Chaitanya himself and all his personal associates appeared and joined in the Sankirtan. Like a flash of lightning in the midst of a mass of beautiful blue clouds, Sri Chaitanya himself appeared in the crowd of devotees through a divine manifestation. At that time, although Mahaprabhu had left this world years before, many different devotees saw Mahaprabhu in different ways. Those of and one thing that's said about Narottam Das Thakur is that he was always in this bhava of vipralamba, the separation, because he appeared just following Lord Chaitanya's departure. And when he heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and was so attracted, and he was just like, oh, and I missed. Yeah. So he was always in this mood of vipralamba bhav. Those in Sri Navadvip Dham saw him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, more intimately as Nimai Chanda or Vishrambar, as they knew him during his youth. Those devotees were attracted to Mahaprabhu in Sakya and Vatsalya Ras. The followers of the 6 Goswamis, who only knew Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi, related to him in the mood of Dasya Ras. And hundreds of devotees also worshipped Lord Chaitanya in an Aishvarya mood of awe and reverence. This festival is considered a major achievement in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Hundreds and hundreds of devotees were invited, including direct disciples of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya. At this time, many differences existed in the interpretation of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Acharya Rani Janavadevi came from Kardaha with her entourage. Presiding over all the Vaishnavas, she resolved their diverse conclusions into one consistent Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. All glories to women acharyas. She harmonized the diverse opinions at the time. For the first time, the festival featured many kirtan styles, which integrated the glorification of Lord Chaitanya with the glorification of Lord Krishna and his pastimes. And because so many Vaishnavas were present at one place, it automatically made the Keturi festival extraordinary. It also acted as an important step toward unifying all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So this is nothing new that there are divergent groups of Vaishnavas. So what's happening today is, like, oh my God, what's happening? It's kind of what happens. Narottam Das Thakur wrote many devotional songs about the spiritual master, the devotees, devotional service, the 6 Goswamis, Gaur Nityananda, and Radha Krishna. Although composed with sweet melodies in simple Bengali language, Narottam Das's songs give Shastric Siddhanta and devotional inspiration. Srila Prabhupada often sang these bhajans, considering them non-different from Vedic Shastra. He quoted them in his Bhagavatam lectures. Partana and Prema Bhakti Chandrika are Narottam's most famous works. The following excerpt comes from Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Quote, Radha and Krishna are my goal in life and death, and they are the masters of my breath. Performing my bhajan only for them, I rise and fall in the ocean of prema. I pray that I can always maintain this conception within my hearts as my highest ideal. Let me serve the lotus feet of Radha Govinda. Let my mind be filled with dedication to their divine forms that defeat the beauty of Cupid and Rati. With a straw between my teeth, I fall at their divine feet and present my humble appeal. O Kishore Kishori, those are the deities in Chicago. O son of Nanda Maharaj, Shyamasundar, and O daughter of King Vrishabhanu, Sri Radha, you enchant even Hari, and your bodily complexion is the color of a golden lotus. O Krishna, with a bodily color like an Indranila gem, blue jewel, your beauty mocks Cupid. O topmost dancers, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, please dance within my mind. O you whose beauty increases the charm of your dazzling ornaments. Day and night, I only wish that I shall go on singing your glories in great ecstasy. There are 2 pastimes that are very famous that exalt, Narottam Das Thakur and Lord Chaitanya. I don't know all the details real accurately, but Lord Chaitanya they had a kirtan, I think it was at Srivasangam, or it might have been down at the Padma River. But Lord Chaitanya suddenly started, in the middle of the kirtan, started chanting, Narottam, Narottam, Narottam. And he fainted in ecstasy. And Lord Nityananda, was trying to, console him or whatever, what's happening, what's happening? And Lord Chaitanya was saying, the Sankirtan movement. And Lord Nityananda, he was saying, I don't know. And then he said, Narottam, Narottam, Narottam. So, and Lord Nityananda is like, who's Narottam? There's no Narottam amongst our Sangha here. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, he has not appeared yet, but he will be the one who will carry forward. So then they had this kirtan at the bank of the Padma River, and Lord Chaitanya entered into the river, and it overflowed its banks, and the presiding deity, Padmavati, appeared, and Lord Chaitanya, Indradhyumna Swami was explaining, he had a golden pot, which was, liquid prema was in the golden pot, and he handed it to Padmavati and said, I want you to bestow this prema to Narottam when he appears. And Padmavati was like, how am I going to know who Narottam is? And he says, when he enters your waters, it will overflow with ecstatic, waves, and you'll know that this is Narottam. So that's one sort of divine thing, that Narottam is the, carrying on And what was the other one that was so famous? Let's see.
And the deities, interchange the deities and worship.
I don't know. That's in here, but let me check out this. See if I can extract something from the book here. Here, I mean, let's fluff that one out a little bit. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to go from Puri to Vrindavan, he stopped at the village of Ramakeli to see Rupa and Sanatana. At that time, Mahaprabhu looked into the deep blue waters of the Padma River, facing Kaituri village in East Bengal, and began to feverishly shout, "Oh Narottam, oh Narottam!" This was no surprise to Nityananda Prabhu, the Lord's constant associate. Mahaprabhu had on several occasions already exclaimed this name in the midst of exuberant kirtan. From this, the intimate devotees knew that a great personality would soon take birth, for Narottam literally means the topmost person. On this occasion, however, Mahaprabhu was howling the name of Narottam with an overwhelming sense of joy. Tears flowed from his eyes with uncontrollable force as he ran back and forth like a madman. Nityananda Prabhu was concerned about Mahaprabhu's well-being. He had never seen his master reach this level of irrepressibility, nor had he ever seen him shed tears of love with such vehemence, nearly forcing himself to lose consciousness. Mahaprabhu revealed the reason for his heightened ecstasy. Nityananda, across the Padma in Kaituri Gram, Narottam will soon take birth. This will occur in our lifetime. Kirtan is my life and soul, and Narottam will sustain it. There in Kaituri, he will absorb my kirtan ras with all of my love. I grow anxious for this to occur. For now, I will deposit my intense love in the Padma, and when Narottam comes and bathes there, the Padma will extend my love to him. And there's a description that I think it was his horoscope when Narottam was born. There was some like omen that he should not bathe in large bodies of water because he will go mad, and they were trying to understand what that was. But so when he bathed in the Padma River and became ecstatic, he was mad in devotional ecstasy. He wasn't crazy mad. So the next morning, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and the assembled devotees engaged in an ecstatic kirtan. Nityananda forewarned all of the devotees that Mahaprabhu would be placing his love in the Padma, and that this love would one day be seized by an important devotee named Narottam. After the kirtan, the devotees went to bathe, and when Mahaprabhu entered the Padma, all the waters began to overflow, unable to contain the divine prema that Mahaprabhu had stored there. At that time, the personified Padma is said to have appeared to Mahaprabhu and the devotees. She asked the Lord, "I understand that you want me to deliver this love to Narottam, but how will I know when he comes? How will I be able to identify him?" Mahaprabhu answered, "When someone enters your waters and causes you to overflow, as I have just done, and when a person comes whose presence makes you greatly jubilant, that is Narottam." The Padmavati smiled, offered her obeisances, and returned to her watery form. Nityananda Prabhu was taken by the beauty of this scene near the Padma River and expressed to Mahaprabhu that he would like to stay there. Mahaprabhu told him that he would one day return, for it was his duty to bring Narottam at the appropriate time to the Padma. Nityananda Prabhu is the personification of Guru Tattva, and so he would naturally guide Narottam to the river where the divine treasure of love of God was waiting. And there's a story when he had to go through this vast jungle I think he was trying, after his birth, as these great personality, because he was born a king, he was a prince. And, they were trying to groom him to, become the next king. And he was not interested. He was actually, it's said from the top of the palace, he would look down, he would see there were pilgrims that were traveling from, I guess from Bengal to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra. And on the way back, the devotees would be so effulgent. He's like, what? He was so attracted. And then there was one sadhu named Krishnadas who mentored him and told him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was getting all excited. And the family members were like, they were thinking, we got to keep him away from this Krishnadas because, we need to groom him to be the king. And he's getting all excited about Lord Chaitanya. So he had to, one of these, the great escape, he had to escape from that. And he had to stay away from the main roads and so on because they were going to send people up. And he went through like a huge tract of jungle to get to, I don't know if it was Vrindavan. I think it was Vrindavan because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I think, appeared to him in a dream and said, you should go to Vrindavan and take shelter of like Lokanath Goswami, who was his Diksha Guru, and then Jiva Goswami, who was his Shiksha Guru. So there's so much. I mean, it's an ocean of nectar, but we are out of time. And so I was chanting japa this morning, and I thought, let me chant to please, Narottam Das Thakur, and try to get some little drops of mercy from him. And it's nice, when we sing Guru Puja, we can meditate, who this personality is, how special he is in our Vaishnava lineage, and appreciate how Prabhupada had so much regard for him. So, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Manchakalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhuvyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.